Hi everyone and welcome back. Mindy with Mindy Egan Design, and today I'm just showing you a really simple card you can create using the Hibiscus Frame die from Simon Says Stamp. To start off with, I'm going to show you the Hibiscus Frame. This is the package that it comes in, and this is what the die looks like. Off camera, I did go ahead and die cut this just to save a little bit of time. I didn't have to do anything special when die cutting, just ran it through like I would any other die and it cut out beautifully. I used Nina Solar Weight cardstock, 80 pound. So I have this front piece that I cut the die from, and then I also have a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock, and that is what I'm going to be working on right now. What I want to do is give this flower some color. So you can see I lined up where my flower is going to be. I'm taking some Peacock Feathers Distress ink, and I'm laying down that color where the center of the flower would be, or about where it would be. And my Peacock Feathers was pretty juicy, so that was really thick and quite wet, but it's going to work out great for blending. Now I'm taking the Tumbled Glass, which is one of the new oxides at the time of this video. This is really new, so I'm laying down a lighter color to go around the edges, so kind of giving that gradient look. And I'm only putting it around the peacock feathers. I'm not quite going into it yet because these are quite two different shades. So I didn't want to mix up my blending tool, I should say. Once I put that Tumbled Glass down, I took the Peacock Feathers blending tool and used that to blend into the Tumbled Glass. That way I'm not contaminating them so much. So I'm just going around, keep lining up where I think that's going to be and blending that out. Then I'm going to come in with the Twisted CITRON Distress Oxide and laying down some of that green about where it would be. It doesn't have to be perfect. This was just to add a little bit of color to that background. And see, that lines up great. And even though I did go out a little bit from the leaves, I think this still works out great. Now that I have that ink blending done, I did go off camera and die cut this friend die. So this is Big Friend, also from Simon Says Stamp. It cuts the words and then it cuts a shadow layer. And so I did black in the shadow layer, and I have this white glitter cardstock as my script for the word friend. And I just wanted some sparkle to add to the page, and the glitter cardstock from Simon Says Stamp is really great because that glitter does not come off when you rub your finger across it. So this is one of my favorite glitter cardstocks. Since I did decide to use that black as a shadow layer, I wanted to pull in some more black and kind of tie them together. So I'm going to trim a little bit off of these edges. So what would that be, about 1/8 of an inch off of each side, so that my panel here is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. And I did the little bit on each side so that I keep my margins even, so they're about the same. And then I did that with the top and bottom too. That way I can layer this onto some black cardstock. And my black cardstock is going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 is going to be the end size of it all. And I trimmed down my ink blended panel too. You can see I kind of fidgeted a little bit with it because my colors weren't quite lining up the way I had originally had them, but that's okay. Still works out. You just go with the flow. I do apologize if my voice is a little scratchy. I'm doing this quite early in the morning before the kids get too worked up for the day, so it's still kind of quiet in my house right now. Anyway, so now that I have my panels ready and my die cut word is all set, I want to add a sentiment, and to keep this really simple, I could have heat embossed this on something, but to keep this really simple, I'm just going to add that sentiment straight onto that card front. So I want to do this before I glue anything down. Now for this, I'm going to be using the You Got This stamp set, also from Simon Says Stamp. I will have all these supplies and products listed down below in the video description as well too, if you needed to reference that. So I lined up my shadow layer, since that is the biggest piece, lined up where I wanted that to go. And now I'm just looking where I want the sentiment. You can see I kind of fidgeted around with that a little bit, exactly where I wanted the placement. And then I thought, this particular one, You Make Life Beautiful, the sentiment I'm using, fit perfectly in between the F and the D of that die cut. I'm going to stamp this in some Simon Says Stamp black ink. So I'll use my Misty tool to do that. You don't have to use a Misty. This is just my preferred way because then I'm limiting any chance of screwing up. After that, it's operator error. Now I'm going to take this with some Simon Says Stamp tacky glue and add my front panel to the ink blended panel. Looking back on it, I probably should have used a spray adhesive. This glue works really great. It is very sticky, but it's liquid, and I applied it to an ink blended background, and Distress Oxides react with water. So a liquid, even though it's glue, it's a liquid. So any that had squished out actually ended up kind of changing the color a little bit on my card. I noticed it after, once I was kind of writing up my supply list, I noticed it. You really can't notice it unless you're looking for it, but that's just me. I do notice that on my own cards. So if I were to do this again, I would probably use a spray adhesive. Then I'm taking a Post-it note and I just leave it on my desk. This is just going to catch any extra glue. It's just kind of a habit I've really liked getting into. Then I don't have to worry about cleaning glue off of my craft mat. And pressing my glitter cardstock onto my black shadow piece. And don't forget the dot on the eye. I almost swiped this off my table. So getting that attached. And I can go ahead and work on finishing up my card. So this is just going to go straight on a piece of black cardstock, like I said, the A2 size card base. You could add some dimensional foam if you wanted back there. This card actually probably only took me about 20-25 minutes. It was really simple. It's beautiful. I love the two different colors for the flower, and there's so many different colors you could use for this. So these are a really great card if you want to make a bunch of cards, like if there's going back to school, you could change up the sentiment of the thank you. And just as a finishing touch, I'm using this Moonshine assortment from Simon Says Stamp. You can see I'm dumping like a bunch on my table because it seemed to be all the real big ones were at the top of the bag. So I just kind of fished through for some smaller ones. And I'm using my tweezers just to kind of place these onto my card, using the tacky glue to attach them. And then I'm also going to bring in some Nuvo Drops White Blizzard, and I'm going to add that to the center just for a little bit of extra sparkle. The White Blizzard has some glitter in it. So I thought it was just a really nice touch. And that's going to finish off the card. So I hope you enjoyed this. This was a really simple but a card that packs a lot of punch with these colors. It's a gorgeous, and there's so many different techniques that you can do with this too. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would appreciate a big thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and hit the little bell if you'd like to be notified of any new videos. Thanks again, and I'll catch you next time.